Thank you for the opportunity. So my name is Muudeni Samuel, and I'm doing my PhD at the Glasgow School of Art, and my research is being funded by the UK Research and Innovation Centre in conjunction with the One Ocean Hub. My topic today is the intersection of technology and ocean cultural heritage, a Namibian case study. Just to tell you a little bit about Namibia. So Namibia is a diverse country in the southwestern part of Africa, and it is very rich in cultural heritage, and it has a dynamic ocean area. And my research explores communities in these Namibian coastal towns that are part of the coastal socio-ecological system, researching on unrealized potential for communities to benefit and learn from their own heritage and ocean connections that they have with the ocean for livelihood sustainability and to enhance communities through ocean literacy, but importantly, for knowledge preservation. So the research is being conducted in 4 major ocean towns in Namibia, namely Swakopmund, Walvis Bay, Henties Bay, and Lüderitz. So what is it that I'm actually looking into? So it's connection, place, connection with the ocean. Most of the coastal communities have long-standing cultural and emotional connections with the ocean. So be it a lot of benefits financially, culturally, emotionally, physically, there are a lot of benefits. However, I'm looking into the cultural ties and the relationships that the communities have with the ocean, and also trying to understand their past experiences and memories that they share with the ocean and whether they shaped their current livelihoods. Over the years, a lot of researchers have been collaborating with communities to leverage technology in a lot of spectrums, and in this case, to preserve indigenous knowledge or knowledge. So the research explores the role of ocean cultural heritage and ocean knowledge preservation through technology that is extended reality. In what sense? To come up with digital productions of the ocean connections that they have with the ocean, but also the significance of the creations or connections that they come up with, further examining the technology that is being used and how it is a tool, an empowering tool for ocean literacy and knowledge preservation in this context. The research is going to be studying existing technologies that are currently being used to support cultural heritage and knowledge preservation, trying to draw from the benefits and challenges that they have faced over the course of their studies, and also how they were implemented in the context, especially when working with communities, and then doing a comparison on how these technologies, especially extended reality in this context, can be implemented in other communities, that is now Swakopmund, Walvis Bay, Henties Bay, and Swakopmund in Namibia. So in the picture, we have Tate Shoti. He's one of the participants I've worked with in previous projects, and he's going through a virtual reality heritage project. He's a San person, and one of the biggest projects, or one of the biggest cultural traits they have, is rock painting. So in the virtual reality space, they got to kind of paint on the walls or on a rock that took them back to the olden ways that they used to live, which is rock painting. My research questions are, in what ways can ocean literacy and cultural heritage preservation contribute towards sustainable livelihoods and improved ocean conservation? And what techniques do communities use to express the connection that exists between them and the ocean? And how can their expressions be represented through technology? Then how can technology be used to simulate and preserve cultural heritage and ocean indigenous knowledge? I'll be using research through design as well as transdisciplinary research as overarching methodologies, complemented by participatory and community-based design. Why exactly? That's because these methodologies ensure engagement of communities through the design process, but individuals in the whole design process are also able to gain a few skills, certain skills that they didn't have. I'll also be working with focus groups, having interviews, doing observations, and having questionnaires to understand the connection that exists between the participants and the ocean. So participants will be asked to express their connection to the ocean. And this expression can be used or represented in any cultural or art form. It can be a picture, it can be a painting, it can be a story, or it can be a poem. And then also dig deep into the importance of their specific expression, why they chose that expression, and how it relates back to the connection they have with the ocean. Based on a study that was conducted last year in December with the communities, there are many ocean heritage beliefs that are practiced in Namibia in the coastal towns by different ethnic groups. Some of them are similar and others are very different. Maman explains that heritage or culture is perceived differently by everyone. So I perceive cultural heritage differently and the next person perceives it differently. However, the ocean brings with it a lot of benefits. And as I stated earlier, it can be financial, it can be physical, it can be cultural, it can be emotional. But on the right, we have a picture. That's Miss Elizabeth, and she's drilling holes into seashells in order for her to create cultural beads that I used at a lot of traditional events, more like the one I'm wearing right now here. It's also made out of seashells. And they make these ornaments for traditional use, but also for sustainability and financial gain. But what are the research outputs that I'm looking for in my research? It's the cultural or art forms that is represented and that represents the connection between the people and the ocean. For example, if someone were to come up with this is called onyoka, as onyoka is the representation they have to the ocean. Why did they come up with it, or why did they create it, and what is that connection that links them or the onyoka back to the ocean? And then also get oral testimonies that narrate the significance of their expressions. Now, the two are going to be combined and then embedded in technology, which will come up with a digital production of their expression. So, for example, when you take one of the cultural art forms and hover an augmented app over it, the oral story and testimony starts talking, or it starts narrating, explaining exactly what that art form is, how it connects the people back to the ocean, and what is that significant or importance of the connection that exists. These are just a few pictures of benefits. To the left, we have a woman who's washing her feet in the ocean. It represents going to the ocean to show respect whenever you visit an ocean town. And to the right is an engagement of one of my friends, and she's wearing so the chain you see she's wearing around her waist is also made out of seashells, and it's worn at traditional weddings before you go and have your white wedding. What are some of the challenges being faced when it comes to technology in that regard? We're currently in the digital age, and there are a lot of challenges being faced. Yes, there's a lot of strides that have been taken, or advantages of technology in some parts of the world, but in others, there's still so many strides that needs to be taken. For example, inclusivity and leaving no one behind when it comes to digital age. And another challenge is now lack of technological infrastructure. In some of the communities that I'll be working with, the people won't really have access to technological infrastructure. And in that, we'll probably the research will have to provide maybe phones and other technologies for them to use and for them to also engage. And importantly is decolonizing technology. So the technology that is being presented to the participants, to the communities, is it a technology that they necessarily want to use? Are they familiar with it? And even if they are unfamiliar with it, how do we then create a foundation for them to be familiar with the technology, so that that technology further gives back to them for development and empowerment? On top of that, again, biases when working with communities, but yeah, these are some of the challenges. And just to end, the challenges cannot really stop the processes from going. We need to continue one way or another, because the stories need to be told and the heritage needs to be preserved. Thank you very much.